Hi, and welcome to my review of The Eyes of Tammy Faye, starring Jessica Chastain and Andrew Garfield as superstar televangelists Tammy Faye and Jim Baker. Um, this is directed by Michael Showalter and is based on the documentary that was made in the year 2000. Now, American Hollywood biopics tend to kind of they want to play it safe and family friendly by skimming over in-depth insights into the subject's psychology, motivations, or poking to more controversial storylines. For example, the Disneyfication of Freddie Mercury in Bohemian Rhapsody completely ignored his very decadent and debauched lifestyle, his sexual lifestyle. They played it very safe. He's a very safe character, whereas in real life, Freddie Mercury was much more larger than life. He had a very debauched and decadent lifestyle, and there was a lot of inner conflict because of his cultural background. Same as with Liberace and Behind the Candelabra. There was absolutely no challenges on how psychologically Liberace was impacted by keeping his sexuality a secret from the world all his life, and the inner demons and conflict he faced by doing this. And so on to Tammy Faye, The Eyes of Tammy Faye. These were two were Christ's answer to showmanship. You know, they were like Liberace, but talking about Jesus, you know, how Jesus can make your life better, make you richer, take all your pain away, just give us your money, let's raise funds. They were the Ken and Barbie of televangelism. Tammy Faye used to play puppets and sing, and very glamorous, very showbiz. They became very successful in the 60s and 70s, and then they started their own Christian network until their spectacular fall in the 80s from when they were found. Well, Jim Baker was found. He was embezzling all these funds for them to live a hugely lavish lifestyle, a very dynasty-esque home with furs and designer things and holidays and tons of things. And we see Tammy's addiction to pills, and there's Jim's rape of a woman in a hotel room, and his alleged homosexuality, none of which the film's challenges or questions. It merely skims over these events that happened, but there is nothing more than a few minutes devoted to them. We don't understand how it impacted these characters or their lives. There is nothing about it much. So one of the center points of the film and Tammy Faye were her garish clown makeup, thin drawn on eyebrows in the style of Betty Davis and Whatever Happened to Baby Jane, very thick clownish red lips, tattooed permanent lip liner, palettes of silver, blue, purple eyeshadow all over her eyes, lashes of blusher. The film makes a big, it takes a big advantage of this by doing lots of close-ups of Jessica Chastain's, and which makes her look quite lurid and absurd, even in moments of pain and anguish. She looks almost kind of clownish in the lights and with her big clownish makeup. And the film does quite a few close-up of this, which is a bit of a cop-out, I think, instead of looking at the psychology behind so many things that happen to these people. The American phenomenon of televangelism is very big in America and is a fertile ground for hucksters, for snake oil salesmen, for con artists, because obviously the mother of all sales pitches is, I can get Jesus to love you, to make you rich, to make you successful, solve all your problems if you just give me some cash. Now, in the name of piety and purity in Christianity, Tammy Faye and Jim Baker monetized faith and raised staggering amounts of money, and lived in opulent wealth, and raised from the congregation and from Christians all over America, and with a view be used to finance ministries, unwed mothers, Christian programs for struggling communities, and the construction of houses. And the biggest thing, to fight the satanic liberals. This money we use to fight, all the bad things that the liberals present. With the rise of the conservative evangelical right, Tammy went against the grain and interviewed gay men and men with AIDS on her show. that she wanted to fight this demonization of the disease so prevalent in the 80s. She wanted to follow us to know that we're all God's children. And she became a queer icon. And, you know, not just with her makeup, but, you know, accepting of gay men and men with AIDS. Now, the film also doesn't delve into, was she doing this for viewing figures, for notoriety and for her fame? Or was she doing it for really for her compassion for the marginalized? We never get to see that. It's all just it's just all about the popular cultural myth and the lampooning of the characters. There's not much delving into this. Similarly, did Tammy know about Jim's pilfering, defrauding in masses? We just don't know. The film never challenges us to see. She might have had an inkling. Did she ask where all this money came from? Again, not much insight into that at all. Jim was a clear architect of it, but she could see all the lavish lifestyle, but you never get to see how they lived this. Did she ask how they lived this luxurious, materialistic life? Anyway, and the film is, again, as I said, doesn't delve into Jim's rape of a woman, into a hotel room which happened, and his homosexual affair with his colleague. Now, Chastain does give an amazingly compelling performance, but it's also helped a lot with the costume and makeup to sort of galvanize that performance and make it big and possible. I kind of think of like Faye Dunaway in, Mommy Dearest, with these big eyes and over the top kind of traits, characteristics, and so on. I think the film would have made for a lot more interesting film if they'd actually focused on the scandals that happened in Tammy Faye's life and Jim Baker's life. It would have made such much more interesting content. I mean, it does allude to Tammy knowing about what happened by the title, The Eyes of Tammy Faye, which is allude to the fact that she saw things that involved her but turned a blind eye. I think the film's kind of an adoration of a camp persona, much more than asking questions about these two people as humans, not just lampoons. There should have been a lot more character study with plenty of layers and scandals which they actually had in their life. But the film is just so kind of ordinary, so pedestrian. It doesn't ask the important questions, and it actually doesn't play on and take advantage of the real scandals and things that happened. And so basically I just felt that it was a bit of a film by numbers film by Michael Sholter. It was kind of, this event happens and then this event happened and then this, and so on and so on. A bit flat, a bit sort of just shallow, no substance. It was a great showcase for Jessica Chastain's performance, but at the end I was left with an empty feeling of a bit of a forgettable film, and, just watch a documentary instead is just so much more entertaining and fascinating, and watch the interviews with the real people, because that is where you'll see the real substance. So I don't really give it any stars. There's some fun things, but a largely forgettable film. Thank you very much.